Hi, welcome to Unspoken History. My name is Keisha. Thank you for joining me. I got some juicy. Mm, mm, mm. That's what I say when I find something that I didn't know before, and it's just interesting. I go, mm, mm, mm. You ain't gonna believe it. So anyway, I'm reading in this book called Black First. It says 2,000 Years of Extraordinary Achievements by Jesse Carney Smith. 2,000 Years of Extraordinary Achievements. Okay, that's good enough. All right, so what is this? He looked like Malcolm X. Okay, so there's a story in here about the Black Pope. I didn't. Oh, there it is. I was gonna say I didn't say the page out. Unprepared, but I did. I just used a really small piece of paper. Okay, so this guy's name was Bishop. I don't know if you can see this picture because it's black and white and it's small. Okay, yeah, that was a good deal. Bishop Harold Perry, Bishop Harold R. Perry, emerging from St. Louis Basilica following his consecration. Would you like to know what year this was? Dun 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 dun. 1579 to 1639. So, those popes that broke the dumb diverses, that allowed Spain, gave Spain basically access to come and do whatever she wanted in America to his people and his land. They could have been black too. They could have been mulatto, mixed. It says Martin de Porres, year 1579 to 1639, was the first black canonized a saint by the Catholic Church in modern times. Now, they say in modern times because who knows who was in charge of the churches before the Catholic Church or this modern day Catholic Church. He was born in Peru, the illegitimate son of a Spanish knight and Anna, a free woman from Panama. In 1549, he became a Dominican lay brother and won an exceptional reputation both for his work with the sick and poor, for his holiness, and for his holiness. Okay, I got another one. What was his? Is this it? Methodist Episcopal. Nah, that was in the 1800s. We gonna go back a little bit further. Where is it? Is this it? That's what I get for having all these weird little pieces of paper in here. Got green paper, yellow paper. Let me look at the top because I tore this one off. Um, this it right here. Uh, no, it was about a bit. Oh, here it is. Okay, they don't have a picture of this guy, James Warwick, from 1750 to 1827, became the first bishop or superintendent, as he was originally called, of the African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church. Born to a slave mother. It's always got to be that narrative. It doesn't matter whether a black person or a white person is writing a book. They still tell the same lie. Anyway, maybe she was. What did he say? What did he say she was? African. She was a slave mother in Newburgh, New York. He became a shoemaker and joined the John Street Methodist Church. Now, nobody mentions when it comes to black people. Nobody says he was or she was an indentured servant. They always call him a slave. White people were indentured servants. Black people were slaves. Dodge the hijack, as some of the other YouTubers say. He was active in the Zion Church and became a deacon in 1806. He was consecrated on July 30th, 1822. Now, one of the what was I reading just the other day? Oh, the Negro slave revolts. Yeah, in the publication, the Negro slave revolts, it talked about how big and how many Black Methodists there were in the 1800s. So they could go to church and hear the real word, but the slaves had to hear a twisted version that made them slaves forever, and they needed to obey their master no matter what, with gladness. Okay, let's see what else. There is, in 1801, so now you know who, if you watch the video called The Grandfather Clause, you know who the Grandfather Clause was written for. These people in the 16, 17, 1800s, all the way up to the Civil War, that weren't slaves. And they weren't having it. African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church, 1796, in New York City. Peter Williams Sr., a former slave, and sexton of the John Street Methodist Church, organized the first African chapel for Methodists in the cabinet maker's shop owned by William Miller, a fellow member of the John Street Methodist Episcopal Church. Services were held there until a black church was completed in 1800. I've never heard of an all-black church in the 1800s. This is stuff just new to me in the last 10 years. The church was the African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church, which became the mother church of the denomination in 1820. Despite his role in founding the church, William remained a member of the John Street Methodist Church, and his son Peter Jr. became a Protestant Episcopal priest. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, 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 mm. Let's read this one. This one is from 1817. Her name is, I think, Jarena Lee, 1783. Was the first woman to preach in an African Methodist Episcopal church. Oh, I'm sorry, that was too loud. Sorry, I just was trying to drop my book, like, drop the mic. But yeah, a woman, a black woman, preaching in a church in 1817. Just saying. She rose in Bethel Church, Philadelphia, to give a spontaneous talk. Although never formally licensed to speak by the church, she began an extraordinary career as an evangelist. Evangelist Lee and the other women like, and other women like Jane Tillman made a considerable impact on religious life, as well as the growth of their denomination. I don't know if this is the real picture, but that's supposed to be her. Mm-hmm. Way back when. Let's see if I can find one more. From way back yonder, just way back. Here's one. A mutual aid organization. In 1790, the Brown Fellowship of Charleston, South Carolina, is the first known mutual aid society in South Carolina. Limited to 50 free men of color, one of its principal functions was to manage a cemetery for the black members of the St. Philip's Episcopal Church. In 1790, there wasn't no Negroes in that St. Philip's Episcopal Church. They were black Africans or whatever they wanted to call themselves. I don't know what they called themselves, but I know they was pushing for all of us to be African and then to go back to Africa, whoever these folks were. Okay. It said, in the Episcopal Church, since they could not be buried in the church's cemetery, the organization survived well into the 20th century, by which time it had become an exclusive social organization. So that's what they're using it for now. Okay, hold on. Oh, wait, sorry, the other one I wanted to read was on that page. Just above it, the Free African Society was formed in Philadelphia on April 12th, 1787. Because if you think about it, where did those whether they were colonizers or just voyagers, where they come from? They came from the Moors, the Muslims. They came from North Africa, West Africa, North Africa, over in Spain, in that area they call the Middle East now. They call themselves African, and now we have them right here. I heard somebody say that all the Negroes were mixed. Mixed with what? Uh, anyway, it was another YouTuber. It's like them Negroes, and basically comparing Negroes to Moors. So basically saying Moors are the indigenous America. Them Negroes, they brought them over from. Stop it! Stop it! The gig is up, or the jig. Um, First black organization of note in this country because it quickly became the nucleus for two black churches. Okay, so it says see also religion, Episcopalians 1794 and Methodist 1787 and 1799. The African Union Society of Newport, Rhode Island was formed in 1780. Also in Philadelphia, the Female Benevolent Society of St. Thomas Episcopal Church was formed in 1793. And the Male African Friendly Society of St. Thomas in 1795. Interesting, if I don't say so myself. Even the women preachers, women business owners, women slave owners. Interesting. And all of that stuff was just covered up. Even white women didn't get no play. You just erase them from the history too. They ain't do nothing either. Let these people tell it. So, it says, I don't really want to read about the postage stamps. I'm trying to find some older stuff. This is a lot of there's a lot of stuff in here. There's stuff starting from like I just showed you. I think the late 1500s all the way up till whenever this was published. And it looks like something from the early 2000s or the 90s. Copyright 2003. So this is who is this? Let me see. Miscellaneous Industries. This guy, William, I can't pronounce his name. It's Liedensdorf. Liedensdorf, okay. From 1810 to 1848, opened the first hotel in San Francisco. The first hotel to be opened in San Francisco was a black man. He's also credited with organizing the first horse race and operating the first steamboat in 1847. In April 1848, he was the chair of the Board of Education, which opened California's first public school. Oh, Lord, that's interesting. I didn't even expect to read this one, but I'm glad I did. The first public school in California Lettinsdorf was born in the Virgin Islands, the son of a Danish man and an African woman. A Danish man and an African woman. He came to California. So why does the man have to be black? Why can't he be white like his daddy? He came to California in 1841 and became a Mexican citizen in 1846 in order to acquire extensive land holding. Now, how did man go to Mexico and become anyway? When he became a United States subconsul in 1845, he was probably the first black to hold a diplomatic post in United States history. First, we went from a bishop, an Episcopalian, was he in the Episcopal Church in the 1500s, to was it the Methodist and Episcopalians in the late 1700s. Whole churches, whole women preachers, doctors, lawyers, all that's in there. Okay, so again, this is not blacks against white. If you're fighting that war, then you're fighting the wrong one. Okay, because we all been duped. They lied to me, and they have lied to you. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment if you want to.